We're at the Wackersdorf kart circuit in Bavaria, southeast Germany for round 2 of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge. 34 drivers have made it through the heats and are about to contest the pre-final in the senior 125cc category. On pole to the left of your picture is the British champion Ed Brand in kart 203 as we get underway. Alongside Brand is Australia's Piers Lehane, but he slips back, so it'll be kart 299 Philip Moran who moves up to second, and 236 Andy King goes third. Lehane ran very wide into the hairpin and looked set to lose several more places. Somebody takes a trip on the grass, that's kart 224, Avo Talvar, the Estonian who started 10th on the grid. And there's a collision at the second hairpin, and in the middle of it all is Piers Lehane in the blue and yellow kart. It's been an absolutely terrible start to the race for the man who qualified second on the grid. Up ahead, the lead group is now winding its way through the third and final hairpin on the lap. And on the fringes of the top 10, we've got kart 250, Ludwig Moran. 294 Makino Tadasuki, 213 Thomas Benisri, 234 Ash Hand and 278 Barry Pullinger. Here's the fight for 5th place being led by kart 232 James Singleton, 260 Baz Delart 6th with 205 Sean Babington in 7th, and he's another one to have made a good start from 13th on the grid. 212 Harry Foreman is in 8th place. Out of the hairpin, Babington runs wide and that allows Foreman to drive straight past him and into 7th place. At the head of the pack, it's still Ed Brand with Philip Moran on his tail. Moran, one of the 4 drivers in this pre-final, being run by Dan Holland Racing, all of them sporting this distinctive blue and yellow colour scheme. There's one of his teammates in kart 205, Sean Babington, who now comes under attack from Ludwig Moran, the Swedish driver, with a neat move to take 8th place. Glance over the shoulder, head down, and Moran has now made up 10 places in less than 2 laps. Started lap 3, Brandon Moran are still locked together at the front, and up to 3rd place now is Harrison Scott in the green and white colours of Tony Kart, running for Strawberry Racing. And Scott, who finished 3rd in the opening round of the championship in Belgium, is closing fast on the top 2. That opening round was won by Sean Babington, but he's only 9th at the moment, and the other driver to make the podium was the man who leads this one, Ed Brand. We've only had 3 laps in this 14-lap race, but already the top 3 have a huge margin over the chasing pack. Meanwhile, that's 234 Ash Hand getting out of shape and running off the circuit. This is a replay, and it looks like 278 Barry Pullinger went for a move at the hairpin. Hand ran out of road, and in the blink of an eye, he loses half a dozen places. Ash Hand is one of the front runners in the championship after a solid performance in round 1, but he's up against it now. And apart from the top 3, the majority of karts in this field are so tightly packed that if you're unfortunate enough to make an error or run off the racing line, even if only for a split second, chances are you'll lose several places in one hit. Here's a move from Thomas Benisri, kart 213, to get past Baz Delart, the Dutch driver, in kart 260. Here's our lead trio, except they're in a different order this time. Now it's Brand from Scott, with Moran now demoted to 3rd. And then we've got this battle for 4th, being led by kart 250, Ludwig Moran, who started back in 18th place. 5th is the 232 kart of James Singleton. Round 1 winner Sean Babington is 7th. And then in kart 212, Harry Foreman is running 8th. And then there's this massive scrap for 9th place, headed now by Baz Delart, with Barry Pullinger having just passed Thomas Benisri for 10th place. Meanwhile, it looks like 205, Sean Babington has moved ahead of Ludwig Moran and into 4th place. Our leaders make their way onto a fresh lap. Ed Brand and Harrison Scott still keeping each other company, with Scott having started this race from 8th place. And here comes Ludwig Moran back down the inside of Babington to reclaim 4th spot. Baz Delart and Harry Foreman have now moved up to join this battle, and that pair now goes side by side, with the 212 kart of Foreman nosing in front to take 6th place. And almost everywhere you look, there are battles taking place. This one's for 18th, with 223 Jakob Nielsen, 266 Petra Fullin and 221 Jesse Lazar all together. Fullin having made up 15 places from dead last on the grid. Make that 16 places as the Czech driver moves up to 18th. Lap 7 and the top 2 are still glued together, but they're starting to shake off Philip Moran in 3rd, and on the way into the hairpin, Harrison Scott pulls a move to become the new race leader. There's a glimpse of Philip Moran in the background. He's not that far back actually, and if the top 2 start fighting, he'll be right back with them. Moran's teammate Andy King was 3rd initially. We didn't see what happened, but he retired back on the 3rd lap. Here's another mighty scrap for position. This one's just outside the top 10, with this group now being led by the 214 kart of Michael Cool. He and Petra Fullan having just made some moves at the right-hand hairpin. Every driver that makes this pre-final will score championship points, from 34 points for a win right down to a single point for finishing last. We turn our attentions now back to the drivers running 4th and 5th, Ludwig Moran and Sean Babington respectively. After winning the final in Belgium and finishing 2nd in the pre-final there, Babington is the current championship leader with 88 points from a possible 89. Harrison Scott and Ed Brand are both on 84 points. Can Babington find a way past? Well, yes he can, because Moran went very wide, then into the turn and left plenty of room for the British driver to come down the inside. So a mistake there from the Swede costs him a place. About 2 kart lengths back from this pair in 6th place, exactly where he started, is the 260 kart of Bas de Laat, the only Dutch driver currently running in the top 6. Well, we're about to head on to the final lap of this race, but I've got a feeling there's still some life left in this battle for 4th. Certainly Sean Babington hasn't been able to edge clear of his rival just yet. Into the 2nd hairpin they go, but Babington is able to keep them behind. Next he'll have to defend into the left-hand equivalent corner. This he does. What's happening up front? Well, it's still Harrison Scott who leads from Ed Brand. If it stays like this, Scott will move on to 118 points, Brand will move on to 117, and Babington will still lead with 119 points. Just a couple of corners to go now, and Harrison Scott just got a terrific exit coming onto the back straight. That gives him just a little bit more breathing space as he rounds the final turn and accelerates over the line to take the checkered flag by just 0.2 of a second from Ed Brand. Philip Moran comes home 3rd to take the final podium position. Then we wait to see who's 4th, and it will be Sean Babington by less than 1/10 of a second. Ludwig Moran and Thomas Benissri round out the top 6.